And life is heaven, you see. 'Cause I love Lucy, yes, I love Lucy, and Lucy loves me.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is Monday morning and it is 9:30 and I am still at home. I just took Brendan to school and I came back home because I am no longer working. My gig at the Nickelodeon show has ended, and I actually thought it was going to go a couple weeks longer than it did, but the schedule was just much faster than anyone anticipated, so everybody's being cut a couple weeks early. So in some ways it's like, oh, it would have been nice to get a few more weeks of work out of it, but on the flip side, I am still returning to Amazing Race next month, and now I actually have a few extra weeks to work on my book, which is really important. I got a revision request from an editor at Macmillan about a month ago, and I really haven't had time to work on it. I've been trying to carve out an hour here, an hour there around my work schedule to get this revision done, and I haven't made progress as fast as I wanted. So now that I am off work, Brendan's in school all day, Monday through Friday, and I can just sit down and write full time, which is awesome because I really want to get this revision done and out the door. So one other thing that was really cool about the place that I worked at the Sunset Las Palmas Studios over in Hollywood on this show. And when I was there, I found out it was the original home, the original shooting location of the classic sitcom I Love Lucy. It's one of my favorite shows in the entire world, and the soundstage that I think it was the first 2 seasons were shot there, and it was the original soundstage. They had a little plaque and everything on the wall that commemorates the shooting of I Love Lucy. And if any of you haven't seen it, it is the most amazing show. It was shot in the 1950s, and it's just amazing how well the jokes have stood up over time.
After the baby's born, I'll just be forgotten. Oh, that's not true. It is so true. I'll be just like a salmon. I'll swim upstream, spawn, and never be hurt.
And I know it's shown in syndication all over the world, all different channels, all times of the day and night. So I'm sure if you look it up, you could be able to find an episode on sometime somewhere. It's so worth it to check out if you've never seen it. And if you think, oh, it's an old show, I'm too young for an old black and white sitcom, I grew up on the show. Like, I loved it as a kid, I loved it as an adult. I think I've seen every single episode, and there were a heck of a lot of episodes of it.
You know, it isn't every day that Mr. and Mrs. Fred Mert celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary.
That's right.
Gee, that's such a long time. 25 years.
Yeah. 25 years.
Sounds longer when you say it.
And in my opinion, it was a show that never even jumped the shark. Like, they utilized the old trick of, you know, they went to different locations, they went to Europe, and they went to California, and they went to Florida, and they eventually moved out of New York City to the country. And on a lot of lesser shows, that would be seen as like, oh, they're running out of ideas, they're just, you know, desperately grabbing at straws trying to create new episodes. But in Lucy, it was just so continually funny all the way through the end. Like, even when they moved from the city to the country, those were some of my favorite episodes. Like, it just never got old, it never got stale. And so it's really just an absolutely brilliant show. You gotta check it out if you've never seen it. Lucille Ball is a complete comedic genius, as is all the other cast members too. I mean, it wasn't just her. She wasn't carrying that show. Like, she had a total, complete, solid supporting cast.
How often is Ethel checking account overdrawn? Never. Never? How do you manage that?
It's easy. I never had enough money at one time to open a checking account.
And holding down a job is a lot more difficult than lying around the house all day long.
Is that all you think we do?
Yeah.
Well, now, let's be fair, Rick. Every once in a while, they get up and play canasta.
I was so excited to find out that I was walking around on the set where Lucy and Desi and Vivian Vance and William Frawley, all the cast and crew who made that show what it was, they were there on a daily basis shooting that show. And there's even a little cafe that's adjacent to that soundstage called the Babalu Cafe, and, you know, Ricky's signature song when he played at the club was Babalu. And so I would go to the Babalu Cafe once in a while and get lunch, and it was so cool. It was so awesome. So anyway, that's just a little nod to the place I worked over the summer. And so I am off work for the next few weeks. Sometime in October, I'm starting back at Amazing Race. I'm not sure when, I haven't got my date yet, but I'm just going to be writing like crazy until then. That's what I'm going to be doing the rest of today, aside from putting this vlog up. I'm going to sit over at the table and write all day long. So that's it. Have a great day. Check out I Love Lucy. Find it. Check your local listings. It's got to be on sometime somewhere. It's an absolute classic show. So worth the watch. Check it out. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Lucy's a sucker for any sales pitch.
How about that little purchase you made at the war surplus store?
That was a necessary item.
Oh, sure. You never know when you're going to use a 20-foot rubber life raft.
What do you know about rice?
Well, I had it thrown at me on one of the darkest days of my life.